It looks decent online, maybe it gets praised in the reviews, and then it arrives looking fake, flimsy, awkwardly scaled, and completely incapable of carrying the vision. The console table should anchor a vignette. It shouldn't look like it got nervous that it wouldn't be able to hold up against a strong gust of wind. So today, I'm breaking down the fast furniture fails I would avoid as a designer, and I'm going to show you what I would do instead. Design is life, baby. Let's get started. Ultramodern LED chandeliers. You know the ones. This is the kind of light fixture that promises luxury, drama, and sophistication, and then somehow still manages to give upscale escape room. And listen, I understand the appeal. I bought one 6 years ago, and although it's not as bad as these examples I'm showing you, some of them are just crazy. Online, they look dramatic, expensive, high-end, and make you want to put a pinky in the air. But in real life, a lot of them do not read luxury. They read
30% off.
This specific one is a perfect example. Meet the Aliber 3. This chandelier is basically giving, I want it modern, but I accidentally bought a futuristic pageant earring for my ceiling. On paper, it looks like a moment, but visually, it can end up feeling more like a Las Vegas lounge, meta clearance jewelry counter than a refined, elevated home. Check out this review from an angry customer. Lewis says, the photos are good. However, once I received the chandelier, it looked like cheap plastic. 1 star. And that's my issue with a lot of these fixtures. They're flashy, but not grounded. They're bright, but not warm. They're dramatic, but not always sophisticated. A lot of them throw off the mood of the room because the fixture becomes this overly shiny floating object that doesn't really connect to anything else in the space. It's just glowing aggressively like the TV in the Poltergeist movies. To make matters worse, a lot of these integrated LED fixtures age badly from a style standpoint. They can feel futuristic for about 5 minutes, and then suddenly your whole house is giving 1999 penthouse energy. And that's not the vibe. Instead, if you want a light fixture to feel elevated, I would go for something with a little more material honesty and a little less visual performance. Give me an alabaster fixture, a sculptural pendant in beautiful Murano glass, or even a cleaner metal contemporary chandelier that makes a statement without looking like it's auditioning for a carnival funhouse. So think about it before you go for this gaudy mess, because I know Lewis is hot. From the looks of it, you probably should have known this was a cheap, plasticky, golden hot mess, but that's okay. Lewis, don't ever do this again. Printed pattern rugs. They look like they're about to add personality, and then they show up in real life looking like a giant placemat. People think they're adding character, but a lot of the time, they're just adding visual chaos. And listen, I get the appeal. Online rugs can look like this whimsical, layered, colorful, fun addition to your house. You see the pattern, you see the cute little motifs, and you think this is gonna bring the room to life. But in real life, they don't read rich, they read printed. Because when a rug looks like the pattern is just sitting on top instead of woven into something with depth and texture, it can cheapen the entire room fast, especially when the colors are overly sweet and the details are too busy. This rug is a perfect example of what I mean. It's trying to be playful and decorative because most of the pattern is so busy and the color palette is so sugary, it starts to feel less curated home and more someone scribbled on the floor. And the problem with rugs like this is that they don't ground a room, they interrupt it. Your design sense, your nervous system, everything. A good rug should anchor the furniture, support the mood, and give the room some visual weight. But a lot of these printed rugs just sit there yelling little details at you from every direction. It's not adding depth, it's not adding sophistication, it's adding negative opinions. My negative opinion, and others who walk into your house. Don't believe me? Look at this review from a customer. Anonymous from Georgia says, I love it. The colors are vivid and it's well made. There is one place where the pattern actually looks like a dirty spot. It's not a deal breaker. I'll move it around so it's under furniture.
A few moments later.
Update. It's 4 months later and I hate this rug. It will not stay in place. There are lumps and humps throughout the center and it will not lay down. I've tried mats and pins and all other tricks to get it to lay flat. As soon as I find a replacement, it's going in the dump. 1 star. If you want a pattern, you need to go for something with more texture, more depth, and a little bit more restraint. Give me a wool rug with subtle tonal variation, a texture neutral with a soft pattern, or something with a quieter design that supports the room, because the rug should help the room feel layered and grounded. For me, this kind of printed rug pattern is usually a hell no. Not because pattern is bad, not because color is bad, but because when the material feels cheap and the print is doing too much, the whole room and your eyes and your guests pay for it. Anonymous paid for it, so much so that she didn't even want to use her name in this review. I'm guaranteeing you she asked at least one person about this rug and somebody told her no. I'm sure her friends and family were like, I told you the rug was a mess. I told you not to buy it. And she went and did it anyway. Now look at her. Faux marble coffee tables. Listen, I understand why people buy them. Hell, I made the mistake and I bought one for my backyard a couple of years ago. That's why I know. See guys, this is my own version of that faux marble table, and I tell you, it does not look real by any means. I understand that you're trying to get that stone luxury high-end look without paying real stone prices. Unfortunately, the problem is a lot of faux marble does not read like marble. In real life, it reads like someone took a marble JPEG, stretched it across the rectangle and said, "That'll do." And no, it will not do. The veining is either too perfect, too shiny, or too flat. And instead of giving the room that natural depth and richness, it gives the room a very specific, I wanted luxury, but I was too impatient and I wanted it too fast to save all my money for the real thing energy. Not that you can't use affordable materials. You absolutely can. The issue is when the material is pretending to be something that's very clearly not. And that's where the room starts to feel off. A coffee table usually sits right in the middle of the room. It's not hiding in the corner. It is front and center, holding the books, a candle, the remote, the little bowl full of things nobody knows what to do with. So if the piece looks fake, the whole sitting area feels less elevated and it's giving, I really wanted marble, but my wallet said, no. Let's head over to the reviews. Morgan S says, do not buy, do not waste your money. It looks fake and chips. I have tried to return it, but the table is so heavy that it's impossible to get to UPS.
1 star.
Morgan, reviews are great, but it's also in the description. This is not real marble.
And you know this, man.
Instead of faux marble, I'd look for a table that is honest about what it is. Give me a beautiful wooden coffee table, a marble or travertine piece with a softer matte finish, a metal and glass table, or a simple sculptural table in a solid color. Because you do not need every piece to pretend to be luxury. Sometimes the more elevated move is choosing a simpler material that looks intentional rather than a fake expensive material that looks stressed. Marble is gorgeous and it's my favorite, but fake marble, that's a goddamn crime. Accent chairs are the impulse buy of the furniture world. Small enough to justify, but dangerous enough to throw off the whole room. A lot of cheap accent chairs have the same problem. They look cute in a product photo and they arrive looking too tiny, real stiff, awkwardly shaped, and completely incapable of holding anyone over a size 0. Chairs like this don't complete the space, and the issue is usually scale and silhouette. The back is too low, the legs are too thin, the seat is too shallow, or the whole thing looks like it was designed for a staged apartment where nobody has thighs. And listen, everybody has thighs. A good decent chair can absolutely elevate a room, but it needs to have shape, weight, comfort, and intention. It should feel like a part of the conversation, not like somebody dragged in an extra seat from the waiting room. Now let's see what the people have to say. Martha from Wayfair says, terrible quality. They fall apart and all the cotton came out from the bottom.
1 star.
Instead of choosing the cheapest cute chair you can find, I'd look for a chair with a stronger silhouette. I would go for a deeper seat, a real frame in wood or metal, a fabric that feels more substantial, or even a vintage chair with better bones. Like this little big chair with soft lines and bracing form. Because the right accent chair adds shape, texture, and tension. The wrong one just gives you something to apologize to your guests for. And you don't want that. You want people to come over and have a good time. You don't want them to be offended by what you chose. So take your time, choose better, and stay away from cutesy stuff like this because it's not holding up anybody. I don't even know why she thought this would be a good idea, but it looks exactly like 2 lawn chairs with foam. And when's the last time you saw a lawn chair with tufting? Never, girl. So why today you want to buy one? Why, Martha? You know better. Don't put that in your house. Put it in the dump, Martha. Just go ahead and do it, or apologize to your guests for them falling over. Funky statement mirrors. If your room's too small, you want to give the illusion of more space, a mirror could be a great investment. Just try to avoid the ones that are wavy, bubbly, overly shiny, or shaped like they escaped from a funhouse. They're supposed to reflect the room, not make it look like you're about to win a stuffed animal. I love a statement mirror, but some mirrors do not add elegance. They add ridiculousness. I'm talking about the ones with a shape that tries too hard, followed by a reflection that looks slightly warped, suddenly making your space feel less curated and more step right up to win a prize. And the problem is that mirrors are powerful. They don't just sit there quietly, they reflect everything. So if the mirror itself looks cheap, distorted, or overly gimmicky, now it's not just one bad piece on the wall, it's doubling the chaos. Check out this review. Sarah from New York says, this mirror warped within a few months and Wayfair said it was past the window, wouldn't offer me a credit or take it back. It makes everyone look wide, which defeats the purpose of having a full-length mirror.
1 star.
Don't be like Sarah. Instead, I look for a mirror with a clean or sculptural frame with better scale, quality glass, and a finish that doesn't look overly yellow, shiny, or fake. Because a statement mirror should feel like a design choice. Don't be like Sarah. This right here though, and this, and this, and that, no.
No, no, no.
That's not luxury. That's decorative chaos with a reflection. Console tables are tricky because this is where people think that they're creating a beautiful styled moment. But if the piece is too thin, too fake looking, too wobbly, that's a no. I get it. Feels like an easy win. You put it behind a sofa, add a lamp and a vase, and maybe a little bowl for keys, and suddenly the room is supposed to feel finished. But the problem with a console table is that it usually sits in a very visible spot. So if it looks flimsy, shallow, or wobbly, it immediately makes the space feel less intentional. In my opinion, a console table is way too central to be lousy this loudly. Take this table for example, the Yamakasi Home Tower Modern Slim Console Table. I don't know why anybody would have purchased this and thought that it was going to hold up anything other than your thoughts, but here we go. Marcy from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. She goes, disappointed with this. Super lightweight and not sturdy. I see some of the other reviews noted it's being wobbly, and it is. It would easily tip over. Not sure why there are so many 5-star reviews, which is a part of the reason why I bought it. The wood is particle board with plastic coating. The concept was what I wanted, but the quality is definitely overpriced. 1 star. Sarah. Is her name Sarah? Hold on. Sarah was from earlier. Martha. Okay. Is her name Martha? Marcy. Okay, her name is Marcy. Marcy, did you just say that some of the other reviews noted it being wobbly? And it is?
Are you okay?
If the reviews already said it was too wobbly, why? Why, Marcy? Why would you do that? They told you it was too small. You can look at it and see it's too small. Hold on, guys. Let me let my dog out. Maybe you were just hoping that it was going to be different for you. I don't know. Instead of grabbing the cheapest console table that fits well, Marcy should have looked for something with better scale, more visual weight, a stone texture, stronger legs, or a solid base. And something like this, or even like this will work way better than what poor Marcy had to deal with. Because a console table should anchor a vignette. It shouldn't look like it got nervous that it wouldn't be able to hold up against a strong gust of wind. So no, this is not about telling people they need a mansion, a designer budget, or imported Italian furniture blessed by the design gods. This is about discernment, because a lot of furniture looks cute online and then shows up ready to embarrass you in your own home. So take your time, trust your standards, and stop buying pieces that look like they were only meant to survive the product photo. If you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.